Welcome to the Go Slow to Go Fast Lifestyle Podcast, a space where we breathe deeply, live more intentionally, and find meaning in the messy middle of life. I'm your host, Kendra Chapman, mom of triplets, busy professional, caffeine lover, and a big believer of slowing down so we can show up fully. If you're a busy human navigating career, family, life changes, or all of the above, you are in good company, my friend. We don't chase perfection around here. We build rhythms that support peace, clarity, and as I like to say, HYGGE. It's that Danish concept. It's not just about cozy candles and blankets, but it's definitely got that mindset going for it. If you're not familiar with HYGGE, don't worry. I will unpack that for you throughout my episodes. But today, it's just me. This is my first solo cast in about 6 weeks, I believe. So I'm going to share some updates with you all on how life's going on the Chapman homestead and what's next for me in my new chapter. So for segment 1, what's bringing me HYGGE this week, as I'm watching wild turkeys parade through my sightline out my window, I'm sitting in my pantry where I usually do my podcasts, and it's a beautiful day. But what's happening right now in Middle Tennessee in late August of 2025 is the temperatures are fall-like. They're in the 70s during the day, and my parents are reporting the same in Virginia, and we're experiencing temperatures in the 50s at night. So it's probably only going to be a few days, possibly the rest of this week. And so I'm going to embrace it because it feels like fall. I'm leaning into the cozy blankets and finding a moment of calm in this sweet pre-autumn air because I know it'll change and it'll become hot again before we know it, before the fall returns. But for now, I'm enjoying it as much as possible. The cooler temperatures are amazing, and it's just perfect for candles and blankets and cozying up on the couch. If you have any young ones in your family, it's a good time just to kind of nestle in, or pets, right? Because it's a great time to snuggle up when it's cooler outside. But I don't know about you guys, but in the summer when air conditioning is on, I get a little cold too. So I like to have a sweater and a blanket nearby. But for segment 2, I want to kind of talk about my life updates. And many of you know, I'm a mom of triplet 10-year-old boys. And I know that I have family and friends and former coworkers listening on this, either this audio format or the video format in YouTube. So many of you already know this, but for nearly 30 years, I've been a servant leader in education, and I've done, instructional coaching, teaching, leadership, and that's looked like assistant principal in multiple schools. I've been in Virginia, I've been in DC, and most recently, I've been in Tennessee since 2020. And moving to Tennessee, moving into the Nashville area, first off, being a principal, and then I transitioned into a central office position, which was just better for my life at the time and for my family and the commute. If any of you live in Middle Tennessee, you know the commute into Nashville can be very similar to those of you that are in Northern Virginia or probably outside of any large city like LA. The commute can be crazy. So working from home is definitely ideal if you can make that work. But in education these days, aside from the pandemic, we really can't work from home. So, it's a process of commuting in and doing your 7 to 8 hour work, whatever that looks like, and then commuting home. And it just wasn't working out for me. Being a principal in a middle school, I think most of the people that know me really well understand that it's really better for me if I can work from home because I have littles. And so even though I asked to move into that role last year and become a principal again after being in the central office for 3 years, I just missed kids. I wanted to be around kids. I wanted to be around that energy. And it was fun, but it's energy draining too. So, it's a double-edged sword, or, whatever you want to call it, but it definitely physically weighed on me and it just wasn't the best fit. So I decided it's probably better if I could work from home. And so through all that process, I started the podcast in January. I had already started planning a year before that, well into. a year, but I didn't really launch my podcast until January of this year, kind of kicking off my 50th year, turning 50 in February. So I thought it would be a great slow exit plan into retirement, but life had other plans for me. And it turned out that I could shift into working from home, be a stay-at-home mom, do the podcast, and kind of turn it into possibly a full-time job. We'll see. I'm not there yet. Thanks to listeners like you out there, I might be able to. If I am looking at adding ads into the podcast to make a little money to keep the podcast going. And I'm starting to build some online courses. So if you or anybody you know is looking for doing a deep dive on adding some strategies into your schedule, into your routine, or if you want to check out any of my other online courses. I'm building a library, but right now I just have one posted, but definitely keep checking back to see if anything resonates with you. But I would definitely be appreciative and thankful if you consider purchasing one of my online courses and giving me feedback, because I'd love to know if there's anything else that you need me to talk about on my podcast or you'd be interested in hearing about, or if you have questions. But right now, I'm taking it on as a new chapter in my life where I can continue learning, because I'm a lifelong learner, but I also want to continue educating others out there that are interested in the same topics that I am. So I'll be most likely in my podcasts clustering those episodes that make sense to put together. So most recently, I've done 6 interviews, and the first 3 interviews were with wellness coaches, Madison and Lauren and Florence. It just made sense to me to group them together because they were so insightful on health and wellness for busy women looking to change so they could have a better life. And that definitely goes along with my beliefs and my values. And so I thought that would be a great way to kick off those interviews, is have that cluster of 3 strong women in the wellness space. And then I thought it would be great to look at interviewing educators out there, because I do have that education background, and it was getting ready to be that back to school time in August, that Tennessee goes back to school at the beginning of August and Virginia goes back the middle of August. And that's a change, because normally in Northern Virginia, or at least in my most recent experience, it was more after Labor Day, but they've definitely shifted to going back to school in the middle of August. So pretty much, I think everywhere around the US, and at least what my experience is in education in the United States, in the Northern Hemisphere, most schools have gone back now as we gear up for Labor Day weekend, which is coming up soon. So I think most parents and teachers and educators who are listening in on this podcast are going through that right now, or just have. If you have any kids going off to college for the first time or returning to college, of course, that's a process too that usually happens at the beginning of August, depending on the programs and the institutions that your children attend. But, that's a shift, that's a transition. Some parents might have some empty nesting going on, where their last kid has gone off to college, or their youngest kid has graduated college and gotten a job. Yay. Hopefully all that is a celebratory milestone in your life, and either your kid is going off to kindergarten for the first time, or college, or whatever that looks like in your life. Could be middle school. Hopefully you'll find something informative to add into your everyday from the last couple of podcast episodes that I've put out. So now this is my solo cast, and I'm planning on doing a cluster of 3 episodes that are similar in topic and message from different folks that I'm interviewing, and then a solo cast. So I'll do 3 interviews and then a solo cast, and then 3 interviews and a solo cast. And that'll be my pattern for the next few months. And so some of the episodes that are coming up I think all of them are very interesting, because I'm having great conversations with wellness coaches. I'm going to continue talking to people in that space. I'm going to be talking to folks about nature and how to live a better life, that are practitioners in Western and Eastern medicine. I'm going to be talking to a clinical psychiatrist here soon. I'm going to be talking to a gentleman who is known as the dyslexia professor, and I'm going to be talking to him about how he's created a process for teachers and parents to use to help students navigate how to read and then learning how to comprehend what they read if they have dyslexia. And that's going to be a fascinating conversation. And we're actually going to make that a 3-part series because Russell's going to be talking to us about his strategy that he's going to give away in the first episode, and anybody can apply it. Teachers out there who listen in, you guys can apply that to your classroom strategies, and parents out there who want to have a better experience with homework in the evenings, Russell's going to share his strategy with you that you can apply the next day. And then he's going to come back onto my show and we're going to talk about the next step of working on writing and writing strategies. And then if your child is looking to moving on to higher education and wants to go to college, then Russell's going to come back and he's going to be talking about how to have successful experience in the college space. But also, he has a book coming out soon. So I want to make sure that I save a little bit of space for him to talk about his book that'll be coming out shortly after that. So it's going to be an exciting conversation. It's going to carry on into 3 episodes. But we're also going to have other guests that will be in the spiritual space, health and wellness space. I'll continue that. I have guests that are going to be talking about gardening and how to get back in touch with nature. So definitely all ways to go slow to go fast. So if you have any ideas about what additional topics you'd like me to touch on, definitely let me know. I'm always open to feedback. As a busy professional and a parent, I used to wear busy like a badge of honor. I get it. Your brain is a nonstop to-do list, and it feels like there's no time to breathe, let alone slow down. But that's where we've been getting it wrong. The secret to a calmer, more productive life isn't doing more. It's learning to do less efficiently. Your path to resilient calm begins with one simple act, pausing. Think of the pause as your personal reset button. It's not about escaping your life. It's about showing up more fully for it. It's a moment to reconnect with yourself before jumping into the next task. The first actionable move in my 3-step Calm Stack method is something I call permission to pause. This is an intentional 60-second break that you take in between different tasks or settings. For example, before you go from work mode to mom mode, parent mode, take a moment to pause and breathe. And before you open your laptop in the morning, pause and breathe. Just for 1 minute, close your eyes. Inhale deeply for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. And repeat that 3 times. It's that simple. That single minute, that intentional pause, it breaks the cycle of chaos. And it gives your nervous system a chance to reset. So you can walk into the next part of your day with clarity and not overwhelm. This is the power of slowing down. If this simple strategy for 60 seconds created some calm for you, I want to show you what else is possible. I have an online course that's ready when you are. It's out on my website, and it's called the 3-Step Calm Stack. And the first module is free, so you can get an idea of what it's all about before committing. This is just the first step in my 3-Step Calm Stack method. It's a complete approach to building daily rhythms that support peace, clarity, and joy. So if it feels right to you, I invite you to keep going. You can get the full course and start building your own Calm Stack with me today. That's it for today's episode of the Go Slow to Go Fast Lifestyle Podcast. And now I'd love to hear from you. What's bringing you HYGGE this week? And how are you going slow to go fast? You can always email me at coachingwithkendrachapman@gmail.com, DM me on Instagram, or visit my website, www.coachingwithkendrachapman.com. I want to hear from you. I want to know what your calm moments are looking like. If you want to tag me on Instagram, I'd love to see your version of intentional living. So let's walk through this season together, whatever that looks like, with confidence and purpose and a little extra grace. And if you've loved this episode, I hope that you'll consider sharing it with a friend or two who could use a little moment of calm and clarity. And as always, stay connected, go slow, be intentional, embrace the season you're in, And remember, the light in me honors the light in you. And as you head into the rest of your week, let your light shine through. Until next time, remember to go slow to go fast, and thanks for listening.